Sunbelt expansion. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Welcome back to another edition. We're going to talk about Sunbelt expansion, Cam Fancher getting the starting nod with the Marshall Thundering Herd, and the race to 500 subscribers. We'll give a little incentive. Why not? We made that back there. I can't point to the right thing. That right there. There you go. Pointed well. All right. I had it made. I didn't make it. But we can get a t-shirt. All right. We can give the 500 subscriber t-shirt. All right. Good show for you today. Let's talk Sunbelt expansion because things happen fast. On yesterday's edition, we spoke about Keith Gill saying Sunbelt's kind of good. We're good. That was Tuesday at about 10:50. Spoke for about 10 to 12 minutes. Second question asked by Kef Giardello from the Austin Statesman. Are you planning any more expansion? He goes, no, we're all right. We're pretty good. We just added 4 teams. 3 are super competitive. 1 going through, I don't want to say a transition, but, needs to pick it up a little bit, right? Marshall's good. JMU's really good. Southern Miss is pretty good. Although that rebuild's been going on for a couple of years. ODU needs to pick it up, and maybe they've gotten a good coordinator. And we're just talking football here. Meanwhile, other sports. And then by literally 4 o'clock, and I left a little bit early, had a lot of interviews in the can from Sunbelt Media's on Wednesday, but I walked into the main room, and Corey Diaz from the Acadiana the Daily Advertiser, the Daily Advertiser was there, and he's like, oh, by the way, Colorado is moving. So from 10 a.m. on Tuesday to 4 p.m. on Wednesday, about 30 hours, we've gone from Colorado is moving from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. And by Thursday, that had been the case. And there's no grace period. They ain't waiting. They are moving in 2024, next season. Thank you very much. I thought, I couldn't find it. I did a look-see that Florida State wants out of the ACC. So the dominoes are falling. On Tuesday, when Keith Gill came on the show on Sports Chat on 103.3 The Goat here in Lafayette, Louisiana, I didn't ask him about expansion as much as, are you reactive or proactive? Can you be proactive as the Sun Belt, or do you have to be reactive and wait for the Power 5 conferences to get the ball going? And he said we're reactive because we want to be. Not because we have to be, but because we want to be. And again, that was Tuesday. Things change fast. Brett McMurphy came out from the Action Network and reported on Thursday, the Big 12 is looking for either 1 to 3 more teams to join Colorado and have an even number of teams in the Big 12. And if they go get 3 more teams from the Pac-12, say, I don't know, Arizona or Arizona State, Oregon, and Washington, that's it for the Pac-12. Sayonara, take care. We don't have to worry about you not announcing a media deal. You are done with a media deal. You're done, period, end of story. Break it up. And so, of course, now the ACC is going to look to expand. I think the Big Ten maybe, okay, who knows how many teams are in the Big Ten right now, right? They just added 2, or for next year they'll add 2. It even took them a couple of years to get into the conference, but Colorado is moving very quickly. And so where would the Sun Belt look to? I always thought UAB is right in the footprint. Now, does Troy want that? Does South Alabama want that? That's another team in Alabama you're competing with. I don't even know if Alabama or Auburn would want that. I'm not sure that they would care that much. UAB sitting there. Alabama doesn't want UAB to have a football team at all, but that's a different story. That would be a good one for Troy and South Alabama. Again, I think Tulane is out. The hoity-toity private school. They don't want anything to do with the Louisiana Raging Cajuns for the most part. They think it's below them, which is a shame because that would be a good rival. They need a rival. They absolutely need a rival. Someone has suggested to be McNeese. And again, I think that would take a little bit longer to get going in terms of facilities to improve a little bit. Someone also suggested SMU, which is not a bad idea. That's Dallas market, right? That's Fort Worth or Dallas market. That's the Dallas market. And I'm not sure SMU would want all that much to do with the Sun Belt, but it's not a bad idea for the Sun Belt. And then others had a good idea. Memphis and UTSA. Memphis kind of hooks up a little bit with Arkansas State. And UTSA would hook up a little bit with Texas State. Give them, somewhere where, we're not getting on a 6-hour bus ride to play a sporting event, whether it be a football, basketball, or whatever game that they got to get to. And then on the other side, I think we had East Carolina. Oh, and Tulsa was another possibility. So there are some good possibilities. I presume Louisiana Tech is not part of the conversation. Is that out of spite? Kind of feels like that's out of spite, almost on the Sun Belt side of things. Because if you just added Louisiana Tech and UAB, that'd be pretty good. Now, if you want to expand the footprint, like if the SEC, everyone thinks the SEC is going to add Clemson and Florida State because those are the most prominent programs. Sorry, Miami, but those are the most prominent programs in the conference, whereas others have suggested you don't need Florida State and Clemson. You're already in South Carolina and Florida. If you want to expand the footprint, you would go to North Carolina and Virginia. And so now all of a sudden you'd be in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky. That's a pretty good footprint. If you add Clemson and Florida State, you add good programs, but you don't expand your footprint. So if you're the Sun Belt, and also you do have Coastal and App. So if you add an East Carolina, that gives them another regional rival, all right, in terms of not necessarily expanding the footprint, but a regional rival. Memphis would expand the footprint. Tulsa obviously expands the footprint. And as we mentioned, if you do UTSA, you give Texas State a running buddy, if you will, someone close by to have a rival, right? I mean, we talk all the time on here that the Cajuns don't have a rival. The Cajuns need a rival. It would be one, and right now they're trying to make that Southern Miss, which is a good thing. It had been a rival back in the day, certainly in baseball, but that right now that's the rival. Now, we'll see. This thing's going to happen fast. It is Thursday. It's going to be very interesting to find out. It's Friday the 28th. This episode is Friday the 28th. Let's see where we are. What is it? Tuesday the 1st? Yeah, Tuesday the 1st. Let's see where we are with expansion. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you the Sun Belt's going to expand again by Tuesday, but let's just see where these dominoes fall from what has happened in the last 24 to 48 hours. It has been fast. It will be furious. It's a lot of fun. Some people have screwed this thing up from the get-go. Some others have benefited from it. I think the Sun Belt looks great. I don't know if you could add Houston. Houston's in the Big 12, right? So that's not going to happen. I think they're in good shape. I think the Sun Belt's in good shape. They have turned the perception around from what I thought was not a great conference. And Keith Gill has done a fantastic job. So kudos to Keith. I'm sure he's on top of it, right? And I'm not sure if he was around at 4 p.m. when he found out that Colorado was moving to the Big 12. But I'm sure as soon as that happened, he's like, all right, well, now we may need to be a little bit more proactive to see where we are here in not a couple of months, not a couple of years, not a couple of months, but maybe even a couple of days. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, because I think it's going to happen very fast, and we could have a changing landscape in college football again right next year, right? That's when Texas and Oklahoma are moving to the SEC. USC and UCLA are moving into the Big Ten. Colorado is now moving into the Big 12. We'll see if the Pac-12 ceases to exist, and we'll see what the group of 5 schools do moving forward. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we got the word. Charles Huff from Marshall told us Cam Fancher is the starting quarterback heading into camp anyways. We will discuss that when we come back. Let me tell you a little bit about eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle, and every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right. The first time around, just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is in the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, exclusions apply. All right, Dave Schultz back on a Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. We're going to see if we can start doing these a little bit more, well, daily. Hopefully. We already have 2 coaches confirmed. All right, that's not a lot, but it's not bad considering we just saw it. All right, so I emailed everybody over the last couple of days, and we have a couple of coaches confirmed for next week. The idea, to be honest with you, is to get 12 or 13 of them right at the beginning of the camp. That's the idea. So where are you heading into camp? More so than we'll read about where they're coming out of camp, but I want to read where they're going into camp. So then when we have them during the season, one time, probably not going to ask for more than that, but just get them one time a piece when they're a little bit busy actually, and see where we are compared to where they were. All right. Meanwhile, oddly enough, a lot of times they don't bring quarterbacks when you have supposed competition. And, fans were telling me there was a competition. Cole Pennington was going to be up for this job, but he is not. He's got the famous last name and the famous father, but Cam Fancher has the wins. He is 6-1 as a starter for Marshall. And Charles Huff was not shy about saying he's our guy. The other guy doesn't have any playing experience, so we may want him to be good, the other guy being Cole Pennington, but we don't know how good he can be yet, and we know how good Cam Fancher is. And he did lose the game against the Cajuns. All right, maybe not necessarily his fault. Little penalty on special teams allowed the Cajuns to keep possession, and I think they scored a touchdown, whereas it was a 1-score game, and if Marshall scores on the ensuing possession, then they may have taken the lead. But instead, it was a penalty lining up over the center on a punt, and the Cajuns turned a 1-score game into a 2-score game, and Marshall couldn't come back. So Cam Fancher, he can run the football. He did say, we did have a chance to talk to him. He's like, it never slowed. There was not one moment, and maybe I didn't phrase the question right. Was there a game where, all of a sudden you're, doing the plays and you're like, wow, things have slowed down, right? That's what they usually say. You move up a level, whether it's high school to college, college to pros, maybe even group of 5 to power 5, and the game speeds up. And Charles Huff was saying, hey, this guy did a really good job, things that we may or may not see, right? Call the plays right. We would know that. Get everybody lined up correctly. We wouldn't necessarily know that. We might. And then try to execute him to the best of his ability, and he was pretty good at that. So Cam Fancher is the starting quarterback, and he admitted, he's like, if the season started today, it's Cam. Now he's got to go out and prove it in camp, right? He just can't coast. He can't just be, handed the mantle and, he's going to get the gig just because. No, he's got to go out there and earn it. But heading into camp, Cam Fancher is your starting quarterback for the Thundering Herd. I kind of like that. I think all these coaches would prefer to have a guy, right? We mentioned that the Cajuns came out and said Ben Woldridge is their starting quarterback. We know Jaya Wright is the starting quarterback for ULM. Carter Bradley is the starting quarterback for South Alabama. No one really gave us we asked that a bunch. App State we asked, and the other guys we asked for Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina, obviously. We asked a handful of coaches when they like to have the decision. And I guess the general assessment is like 2 weeks before the game, right? You go 3 weeks in camp, or 2 full weeks, 2.5 weeks in camp. And then, then you're starting to, you get that this is the one time you get 2 weeks to prepare for one team. You want to see how that guy does in practice, in camp for 1 week before it's game week, right? So what's that date going to be, right? Like August. Let's see where we are here. Month. It'd be August, like 28th, right? That's going to be the start of camp. So we will, we didn't really get that. I guess a couple of people, maybe Sean Clark from App State kind of said that. He's like, that's when they want to have the decision. Not when we necessarily know, not when the media finds out. And then the other thing is, well, these players got to step up. That's kind of the coach speak. But I even think that Curt Cignetti had mentioned, yeah, we want to know as soon as possible, right? We don't want to, he doesn't want to screw around at all. As soon as he knows, he's going to let him know. Curt Cignetti is about as direct as you get with a college football coach. He does not mess around. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, race to 500. All right, can we get to 500 subscribers by Saturday, September 2nd? All right, and the 500th, am I going to be able to figure that out? The 500th subscriber will get a prize. How about that? All right, we will do that when we come back. It is Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, so let's see where we are. We had a nice run over the weekend. Thanks so much to everybody who is continuing to subscribe. Some good stuff there at Sunbelt Media Days. A lot of good information. We'll pass that along over the next couple of episodes. But we are continuing to grow. Really appreciate you guys following. Good questions coming on the YouTube comments. If you do get it audio-wise, you can subscribe there as well. Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, Spotify. Again, Stitcher podcast is going away. So that's a little bit interesting. But again, thank you so much. Again, if you do see it on YouTube and you do leave a comment, it will be me. So please subscribe. Please pass it along. Again, we are 32 short of 400, and then the race to 500 for for August. And hopefully, doing a daily podcast will help that out. All right. So thank you so much for continuing to support Locked On Sunbelt. It is sincerely appreciated. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We're going to have a little bit of a contest. Why not? All right, we got that banner made back there. The winner, who is ever the 500th subscriber, I will supply a T-shirt. You'll get a T-shirt of Locked On Sunbelt. Let me know your size. Heck, we could even design it together if you want to, and I will pay for it and ship it to you. So that's what we're looking for, 500 subscribers by September 1st. I'm pretty sure we can do that because I can go through it a little bit if you're finding the analytics of the channel. Let me see here because it's been, hold on, content, audience. That's not going to do it. Where's the analytics? It's not letting me do it. All right. Channel analytics, go to channel analytics. Not let me see the subscribers. Usually I can see the subscribers, but it's giving me the views and not the subscribers. Let's see here. So it's only giving me the amount per day, which is it's a consistent couple per day. But I feel like it was like 50 or 60 in the month of July when we weren't doing that much. June was a big help with Southern Miss's run to the College World Series, or not the Super Regionals, anyways. Sorry, and I think we're gonna really hit our stride here in August. We know more of the players, so to speak. In this case, the teams. We've been following them throughout the offseason. We had a chance to talk with every single one of the coaches at Sunbelt Media Days, so we really have a good idea of what's going to happen. Some of these coaches are a little quieter than I thought. Like G.J. Kinney was a little bit quiet. That was interesting. He came off as just quiet. That's all it was. Maybe we were just in the room, and maybe I was loud. That could be the case. Was impressed with him. That's another one of those guys who's got to name a quarterback moving forward. So, again, the race for 500, September 2nd. I think we can do it. I need your help. Again, it is, what do we say? It's 32. So it's 132. I mean, that's about 10 subscribers per school, which is 140. 10 subscribers per school. We can absolutely do that. Come on. Cajuns need to step it up. That's where I am. That's where I'm located. Cajuns fans need to step it up as much as possible there. I mean, we get some really good support from Southern Miss. We see it at Texas State, Huntington and Marshall. We need some help from the Cajuns fans as well. But 10 subscribers per school is not a lot. That would be a big help if we can get it to 500 subscribers. I will personally get a free T-shirt. I'm supposed to get a Sunbelt hat. There's only one place I'm getting that. And if I get that, I'll pass that along too. Although it would look good. There we go. It would look good right next to Dad. Can we do it? There you go. We'll put it that. We'll take down the Woodford Reserve Master Collection and put the Sunbelt cap up there, the Dad's picture next to that, and then Robe's picture next to Dad. So if we get the Sunbelt cap, I will pass that along as well. All right, from the Sunbelt conference. All right. Again, thanks so much. We'll continue to do episodes, and I'll go back and recap of what we heard in New Orleans. All right. So please have a great weekend. We'll probably have a couple of episodes this weekend, as I still need to do a couple more. I still just need to do a couple more is the way it goes. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Have a great weekend, and please subscribe to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.